For healthcare researchers, pharmaceutical companies, and clinicians, having the right data available at the right time, it's critical. It's also a challenge. Data of all kinds is often sequestered in discrete systems, and that impedes access. This data is also disconnected. Those critical relationships between the data are lost, along with any insights. But now, a collaborative approach that's brought together Amazon Web Services, Neo4j, and the Sophic Alliance is helping organizations make those critical connections to accelerate and streamline key processes like drug discovery, clinical trials, and genomic research. And maybe most exciting is the role these innovations will play in enabling precision medicine. Hi, everybody. Jim Malone here, Senior Contributing Editor with CIO Marketing Services, and we're delighted you can join us for this timely and informative session. In this webinar, brought to you by Amazon Web Services, we've got a panel of experts on hand to offer insights gleaned from working together to better use the seemingly endless data generated by the healthcare industry. And we've got a demo teed up for you as well. So a lot to cover. Let's meet our speakers without further ado. First up, let's say hi to Mike Welch, who's the Enterprise Account Manager with Neo4j. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Just a couple of words about your role at Neo4j.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, Mike Welch. I'm here with Neo4j. I live in the Texas area. I manage our accounts here in the Texas region, and I'm excited to be a part of this panel today.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Mike. Looking forward to your commentary. Now let's say hello to Olivia Chowdhury, PhD, who's a Senior Partner Solutions Architect with Amazon Web Services, Healthcare and Life Sciences. Hi, Olivia. Welcome. Delighted you could join us. Tell us a little bit about your work at AWS.
Thank you. I'm Olivia Chowdhury. I'm a Senior Partner Solutions Architect specializing in healthcare and life sciences and privacy-preserving machine learning. At AWS, I work with our independent software vendors, or ISV, and consulting partners, and help them build and scale their solutions using our AWS services. And I've been with Amazon for over 4 years now, and prior to that, I was a research scientist at the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard and at IBM Research. So thank you again for inviting me to this panel.
Well, thank you for being with us, Olivia. Looking forward to your commentary today. Now let's say hello to Pat Blake, who's the founder and president of the Sophic Alliance. Hi, Pat. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about your role at the Sophic Alliance.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Again, Pat Blake. I'm the president and founder of Sophic Alliance, Inc., and I'm responsible for the overall management of the company, the direction, and I'm also responsible for the development of our products.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Pat. We're delighted you could be with us, and we're looking forward to our discussion today. Now let's say hello to Kip Nally, PhD, who's Director of Product Innovations with Sophic Alliance. Hi, Kip. Welcome. So glad you could be with us. Tell us a little bit about your work with the Sophic Alliance.
Thanks, Jim. I'm Kip Nally, the Director of Software Innovations at Sophic Alliance, and I'm responsible for understanding our customers' needs in the healthcare and life science industry and using our software and software innovations to deliver those products in a concise and user-friendly manner.
Thanks so much, Kip. Delighted you could join our other panelists for this session today. Really looking forward to hearing how this initiative came together. Now, before we get started, though, I have a quick tip for our listeners to help you get the most out of this session, and that is the additional resources section of your player. There you can find lots of information on everything that our panelists will discuss today. You can find resources that will allow you to get in touch with our sponsors and our speakers as well, along with lots of other assets that you can download and do a really deep dive into this topic. So we do recommend you take full advantage of that. And finally, a big thanks to our sponsor, Amazon Web Services, for making today's event possible. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump into our discussion first. And I'm going to do that by handing the mic to Mike, so to speak. I'm going to pass the microphone to Mike Welch with Neo4j. And Mike, over to you.
Thanks, Jim. On behalf of Neo4j, I'm delighted to be a part of this panel today, and excited to share with you how organizations are leveraging our graph database technology in a way that allows them to transform the way that they unlock insights in their data. You know, it can be said that organizations today are drowning in data, but they're thirsting for knowledge. You know, this data is often fragmented. It's locked away in separate information silos, and sometimes this data is syndicated. It's not even something that is on our own systems. And this is more than just a data warehouse challenge or a data lake challenge. It takes more than just consolidating that data to derive value. The relationships that exist between that data is often more valuable than the data itself. And understanding these relationships adds context and meaning to the data, making it possible to really, derive deeper insights and knowledge. So unlike relational databases, the relationships in a graph database, as you're going to see here in a moment, are persistent, and they allow for traversals of the graph and queries that resolve in fractions of the time and using less resources than traditional technologies. And this is really critical for new technologies like generative AI, as you're going to see here in a moment. Pat and Kip are going to be talking here in a moment, and what they've done is they've leveraged the Neo4j graph database to quickly and easily uncover hidden patterns. And this is what our customers do with Neo4j. Is the value of a graph database is the ability to look for those patterns, look for things that are anomalous, things that are weird in the data, and uncover and bring a light to connections in the data that otherwise you wouldn't even know to query for. So it's really critical to leverage this technology to really understand what's going on in the data. And what the folks at Sophic Alliance have done is they've been able to deliver this groundbreaking technology based on our platform. So generative AI is really a game changer. But what we've learned early on is that AI, while powerful, it tends to hallucinate, and it provides sometimes inaccurate answers. So what we need to do is ground the AI model with factual data to bring relevance and explainability to the answers that AI generates. This is where Neo4j fits in, and in what we call retrieval augmented generation, or graph RAG. Together with AWS Bedrock and their Workbench, organizations like Sophic, and across all various different industries, are delivering mission-critical applications that are powered by AI in a way that ordinarily would not be able to be delivered, because traditionally AI would often hallucinate or provide an inaccurate answer. So there are thousands of organizations that leverage Neo4j across the globe. You might be familiar with some of these logos. These companies span various different, virtually every industry imaginable, and the applications that they deliver range from real-time fraud detection, supply chain optimization, customer journey, as well as recommendation engines, to name a few. But today, what we're going to be doing is really talking about how Sophic has leveraged this technology. So I'm going to turn it over to Olivia from AWS to tell you a little bit more about the AWS platform. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Mike. So here I'll touch on some of the exciting generative AI innovations out there, some use cases in healthcare and life sciences, and then what AWS is doing in this space. So generative AI, or Gen AI, is a type of AI that can create new content and ideas. For example, conversations, images, stories, videos, and music. It is powered by very large machine learning models called foundation models that are already pre-trained on vast amounts of data. In terms of the business value, we can group the potential impact of Gen AI into 4 categories. And here is an overview of common use cases in each of these categories. Some of these were already possible with AI and are now improved with Gen AI, and some are completely new use cases that wouldn't be possible without Gen AI. So first is creating new experience by creating, for example, a conversational interface to access information or to engage and interact with your employees or customers. Boosting employees' productivity by helping them to create content or programming code. You can also extract insights from large number of documents and make it easier to share knowledge across the organization, which can then lead to better or more informed decisions. And finally, using it for product ideation or product development. There are hundreds of Gen AI use cases across industries, and this shows just some of them. In the next few slides, I'll dive deeper into the healthcare and life sciences specific ones. So taking a look at some of the common use cases across the healthcare value chain, Gen AI can support clinicians' workflows by listening to patient conversations, summarizing clinical notes. It can suggest optimal imaging and diagnosis based on the patient data. For care management use case, it can efficiently review and analyze records to identify risks, and this can be either at the patient level as well as the population or cohort level. To improve patient engagement, it can provide self-triage capabilities. It can proactively communicate with patients, offer some care guidance after discharge, and also generate patient-friendly reports. And finally, for enterprise functions, chatbots can help medical students, for example, with educational needs. It can help IT or HR search documents and answer any internal questions. Moving on to the life sciences use cases, especially in the research and development R&D space, we have been actively working on protein language models for predicting protein structure, protein function, and their impact in efficient drug discovery. And GenAI can be used to predict cases of adverse drug reaction or generate synthetic data sets. In the commercial and medical affairs space, we are seeing use cases like marketing recommendation, generating ad content, analyzing medical affairs literature, to just name a few. AWS has invested in developing a comprehensive set of capabilities across the three layers of the GenAI stack. The bottom layer is the infrastructure layer that you can use to train large language models, for example, or any other foundation model, as well as run inference on these pre-trained models. The middle layer allows you to easily access all of the models and tools you need to build and scale GenAI applications with the same security, access control, and other features that customers expect from an AWS service. And finally, at the top layer, we have developed applications in key areas like Gen AI-based coding or summarization of documents and question answering. I wanted to highlight a particular service called Amazon Bedrock, which is a fully managed service that allows customers to choose from a range of foundation models through a single API. So you can experiment with and evaluate the top or the most relevant foundation model for your use case. You can privately customize them with your data and build agents that can execute multi-step tasks. And since this is serverless, you don't have to manage any infrastructure while using this service. Currently, Amazon Bedrock offers a range of industry-leading foundation models, for example, foundation models from Anthropic, Stability AI, AI21, Meta, as well as those trained by Amazon. So to summarize, with AWS, you have the flexibility to choose from a broad range of industry-leading foundation models that is most relevant to your business need or your use case. You can run secure customization for your models using your private data. You can get the best price performance with infrastructure that was optimized for running these large-scale applications. You can quickly deploy and integrate your models with your existing workload or infrastructure. And finally, you can use our catalog of AWS sample solutions to deploy common generative AI use cases. So with that, I'll hand it over to Pat Blake from Sophic.
Thanks, Olivia. And I'd like to thank Amazon and Neo4j for the opportunity to participate in this webinar. Over the past 5 months, Sophic, AWS, and Neo4j have worked together on a development of a generative AI-driven genomic analysis system. We call this new integrated system Starlight, Sophic's latest innovation designed to support achieving the promise of precision medicine. I'll take a few minutes to provide an overview of Starlight, and then I'll introduce Dr. Kip Nally, our Director of Innovation, and he will cover the technical details of Starlight, followed by a short demonstration of live software. And then I'll close with a summary of Starlight's capabilities, and I'll share plans for the release of the system. The purpose of Starlight is not to tell doctors how to practice medicine. Our goal is to provide pathologists, oncologists, physicians, and really any healthcare professional with the valuable knowledge and meaningful context that is easily accessible. In this way, Starlight enhances the doctor's practice of medicine. We call that capability the ability to see in the dark. Starlight innovations include an AI-driven evidence engine, the holistic patient model, an intelligent query portal, and an AI-driven clinical trials matching system. Today, we're going to focus on the evidence engine, the holistic patient model, and the intelligence system. The Starlight Collaborative POC project integrates Sophic's conceptual data model and our knowledge base with the power of Neo4j's graph database and AWS AI system Bedrock. This allows Sophic to deliver a generative AI genomic analysis system that exposes hidden knowledge stored across trusted disparate databases. This integration provides Starlight users with the ability to see in the dark. Today, it's common for pathologists, oncologists, physicians, and researchers to work together at a whiteboard, drawing complex diagrams with the connections and lines showing the relationships between genomic data with various diseases and a multitude of drugs. This often say to the colleagues, "Do you see what I mean?" Starlight's answer to that question, "Do you see what I mean?" starts by providing a powerful AI-driven genomic test and evidence report. When the physician orders a genomic test, Starlight analyzes, annotates the genomic and pharmacogenomic information and produces the results in a generative AI test report. The knowledge on each report is integrated into Starlight's innovative holistic patient model. This provides users with an integrated view of both current and previous genomic tests and drugs. Pathologists or physicians review the generative AI draft consult report, make edits, and sign off on the final consult report. Typical users have questions or details in the genomic test that they would like to clarify. Starlight provides the intelligence system, or a chatbot-like capability that allows physicians and pathologists to have a conversation, asking detailed questions about genomics, disease, and drugs. The Starlight AI-driven intelligence system exposes knowledge networks access across trusted disparate data sources. Starlight provides rails around the knowledge base that prevents hallucinations. Now I'd like to turn it over to Kip Nally, our Director of Innovation, who will explain the technical details of the system.
Thank you, Pat. For the demonstration, I would like to go through a couple of workflow overviews to show how the components work together, and then I will show the software and go through a typical use case. When talking about the workflows in Sophic Starlight, I want to highlight the unique value of the interplay between Amazon Bedrock and the Neo4j graph database that contains the Sophic data model and knowledge base that Sophic has worked on for more than 10 years. Starlight is a combination of the most modern generative AI and the most modern database technology, fueled with the unique Sophic data model and knowledge base. This is the overview of Starlight Intelligence, the conversational search function of Starlight. Bedrock Generative AI is used to generate Cypher code based on the schema of the Starlight knowledge base. The Cypher query is then executed, and then Bedrock uses augmented generation to generate a summary of the results from the knowledge base alongside a graph of the results. But for medical questions, the answers must be validated. Validation texts with the primary sources are available in a comprehensive bibliography so the user can be sure the information is no hallucinations. This is the overview of Starlight Evidence, the evidence report generation feature of Starlight that takes information from our holistic patient model and generates a PDF report specific to the patient's information. For the evidence report to work, the holistic patient is imported into Neo4j. This combines the test results, genomic and other tests, with patient metadata and the text notes from the doctors. These patient details are used to generate a report based on our patient model. The test results are queried in Neo4j for relevant information, and a summary of the results is generated to provide readable information to achieve the goal of presenting important information to the medical professionals. A PDF report from the results is then generated and available for download. Now I will show a short demonstration of the Sophic Starlight product features. For the demonstration of Sophic Starlight, I will show how we have designed Starlight to help medical professionals understand patient genomic testing. Medical professionals can be primary care physicians, oncologists, pathologists, and teams of these professionals working together. I will use the term medical professional as the user for this demonstration. For example, let's start to understand the genomic information for a patient that has been diagnosed with colon cancer. The medical professional may ask a question like, what genes are related to colon cancer, and then submit the question to Starlight Intelligence. The question is translated into a query that is sent to Starlight Knowledge Base, contained in the Neo4j Graph database. The output from Starlight Intelligence is shown in the two panels below the query. In the left panel is a summary of the query results generated by Bedrock, and on the right is a graphical representation of the query results. The graph allows the user to see the connections that are used in Bedrock to generate the summary and shows the guardrails for the information that is fed into the generative AI to prevent hallucinations. The graph is interactive and has evidence for the connections in the lines between the objects. Evidence is also available in tabular form by clicking the Display Table button. This is a comprehensive bibliography of the sources that are in the Starlight knowledge base and are used to generate the AI summary. Both the graphical view and the detailed tabular view allow the user to verify and validate the information in the generated summary. Once the Starlight Intelligence information is obtained, genomic testing may be requested for our colon cancer patient. The holistic patient model with the test results is then sent to Starlight Evidence for annotation and interpretation of the genomic test results. From this, a PDF report is generated for review and distribution. In this example colon cancer evidence report, we have taken the information from the holistic patient model, such as the results of their genetic tests, drugs they are already prescribed, and the diagnosed disease of colon cancer, as well as other indications such as diabetes or high blood pressure. On this page, we have patient metadata such as birth date and gender that are included in the report. Below are the patient's drug list and list of drugs used for colorectal cancer. Both curative and palliatives are included in the report to filter the results to be most relevant to the subject. The report includes the test results from two genomic tests, a Genoviridose, a pharmacogenomics test, and an Angina colorectal cancer specific test that have been analyzed together in a single report. Annotations from the Starlight knowledge base, such as variant activity, are shown with the test results. Because this is medical information, the report must be validated by a trained medical professional. We give a place in the editable PDF for consult notes from the professional to be included in the final saved report. Starlight Evidence uses a large language model in Bedrock to deliver a generative AI draft consult that is a helpful plain language summary of the test result annotations. This includes short text annotations from source databases as well as a summary of large blocks of important information such as from FDA drug labels. We have designed this report so the medical professional must edit these results, select the checkbox, and sign the report to signify acceptance of the information in this summary. To assist the medical professional in the verification and validation of the results in the summary, The detailed annotations of each drug with the text results from the primary sources are included in the report. Sometimes a medical professional may have additional questions about the report, or since the report is from a static point in time, maybe the recipient of the report will want to check the most current information about something from a previous report. They can go back to Starlight Intelligence and get the latest information. In this case, I want to see the information about drugs related to the BRAF V600E variant. So I asked the question, what drugs are affected by BRAF V600E? Again, we get a friendly summary of the data. In this case, the results come from the information from FDA drug labels. If we look at the source text from the drug label for cetuximab, we can see that the summary generated by Bedrock is concise, user-friendly, but still accurate view of the information from the drug label. In this demo, I started with Starlight Intelligence to answer a general question about genomics related to colon cancer. Then I showed an example of the Starlight Evidence Report using the holistic patient model to annotate and explain the results of multiple genomic tests for the patient. Lastly, I showed how Starlight Intelligence can be used to further explain and keep up to date with the latest information about specific test results for the patient. In the workflows and demonstration, I described many ways that the Amazon Bedrock Generative AI, the Neo4j Graph Database, and the Sophic Starlight Knowledge Base work together to create a powerful genomic test interpretation system. Here I want to highlight the many touch points where Bedrock, Neo4j, and the knowledge base intersect. In the development of Starlight, Neo4j and Amazon Bedrock are being used to both instantiate the Sophic knowledge base and provide the evidence engine to deliver the information to the medical professionals and enhance patient care. Now I'd like to hand it back to Pat for some additional information.
Thanks, Kip. In summary, Starlight does not tell doctors how to practice medicine. Instead, Starlight helps the physician make informed decisions. Our goal is to provide valuable knowledge, easily accessible, and presented in context. We call this capability the ability to see in the dark. Starlight includes the AI-driven genomic and pharmacogenomic test evidence engine. Sophic's holistic patient model is used to create the test analysis and annotation report. Starlight Intelligence allows users to have a conversation with the generative AI system that accesses knowledge that is hidden and trusted disparate sources and data across data sources. We are completing the development of an AI-driven clinical trials matching system that will be available when Starlight's general release is made available. The plan for the release of Starlight is Q4 2024. And if anyone is interested in joining the Starlight Early Adapters program, please send me an email at pat@sophicalliance.com to discuss the details. I'd like to thank AWS and Neo4j for inviting Sophic to participate in this webinar, and to thank everyone who attended our presentation.
Thanks, Pat. We've been chatting with Pat Blake and Kip Nally with the Sophic Alliance, Olivia Chowdhury with Amazon Web Services, and Mike Welch with Neo4j. Folks, we're almost at the end of our time for this session, but before we go, Pat, I wanted to follow up with you and just kind of get an idea of the reaction or how this solution is being received as you work to develop it.
Thanks for the question, Jim. I've been in computer software and application development for 4 decades now, and have seen the various waves of technology come, and the application software companies have used these technologies to build on. And frankly, Neo4j's graph database and Amazon's Bedrock artificial intelligence is exactly what we've been waiting for 4 decades. It's amazing how easy it is for a software company to find and expose those very difficult relationships between data and to improve the knowledge that we're delivering to our customers. So this is really revolutionary.
Excellent. Well said. Thanks so much, Pat. And what a great point to bring our session to a close. Again, we've been chatting with Mike Welch with Neo4j, Olivia Chowdhury, Amazon Web Services, Kip Nally, and Pat Blake with the Sophic Alliance. Thanks to you all for your insights and expertise And of course, a big thanks to Amazon Web Services for sponsoring and Neo4j and Sophic Alliance for taking part in today's session. And of course, a big thanks to everyone who tuned in. I want to point out before we go to make sure you get the most out of today's session to check out the additional resources section of your player. Everything that our panelists discussed today, you'll find more information on that in that section, including assets that you can download and share with clients, prospects, and colleagues to really deepen your experience here. You can find out how to get in touch with our sponsors and our participants, and also how to join that early adapters program with the Sophic Alliance. And with that, for Amazon Web Services, Neo4j, the Sophic Alliance, and CAO Marketing Services, this is Jim Malone saying, thanks everyone for tuning in.